I arrived as a foreigner in Finland. I graduated, I did a project for a consulting company, and then they offered me a job. You do 100% of the work and you get 50% of the money that you generate. And I was like, that's a pretty shit deal. But I was like, okay, if I do 100% of the work, I can also take 100% of the proceeds. So that's where I made my step into entrepreneurship, and I decided I start my own company. So I've been an entrepreneur since 18 years. I've had companies fail, I've had companies doing well, and I'm still going. So I was 10 years too early. And then the whole sustainability topic blew up. We had Greta Thunberg showing up in front of the parliament in Stockholm. And what I did over there then was I just pivoted. I kept the company running and I did other stuff. So if we talk about the startup mindset is you want to earn millions. And the entrepreneurial mindset is I'm really happy with what I'm doing, making a good living. So it are two different mindsets and none of them is like superior to the other one. For a person of color, the underlying racism that still exists is still a barrier. However, I am very happy that there's a growing part of the population that see the value that we bring to the table. But I've seen that if you put your mind to it, you can get stuff done and do so with an open heart.
If someone is listening today and the person perhaps is sitting on an idea, what would you say to the person right now?
I would say go and chat with a good friend about your idea. And then you take the next step, drop it into AI. And then if you are here in Vaasa, you come by at the Startup Factory and we'll help you making your dream a realization.
Welcome to the show, the Global Read Podcast.
Mamus, Olale,
Yeah.
happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Can we just meet you quickly?
Yes.
Who is Hendrik?
Hendrik was born to a Dutch mom and a German dad. I grew up in Germany. I did my school education over there. And with 18, I went to Central America. I did social work. I was working for a year with street children. And then I was traveling around Central America. And over there, I met a Finnish woman. And then I returned to Germany. I had no plans. And the Finnish woman was still on my mind. So I moved to Jyväskylä to be with her. And then later in the year, so I moved here 24 years ago in 2002, January, almost like yourself.
Okay.
And yeah, it was really cold. I then started a university a little bit later that year, like a University of Applied Sciences in Jyväskylä, studied an international business management degree. And then I studied corporate environmental management in a master's degree at the University of Jyväskylä.
Yes, thank you very much, Hendrik, for that brief introduction. Today we want to take a deep dive into the Vaasa Startup Factory. We know Vaasa is like the energy sector or the energy city of Finland. Talk to my audience. Why should they listen to this episode?
I think they should listen to this episode. If you're having struggles at work or you have this idea that you're very passionate about, and over here in Vaasa and the Ostrobothnia region, the whole region is really entrepreneurial and there's really good support in the whole region to start your business. And there's a good safety net. So you can try to be an entrepreneur for 6 months and then still realize maybe this isn't for me. And then you could say still, okay, I'm closing down the company and move on. But the skills you would have learned during the 6 months are super valuable to small and also big corporations over here in the region and this country.
So if somebody hears the word Vaasa Startup Factory, what should they start imagining?
They should imagine in a radically inclusive place that's for everybody. So while we are a joint venture of the 6 universities over here in Vaasa, that is the University of Vaasa, the University of Helsinki, Hanken School of Economics, the Ovo Academy, Novia, and the Vaasa University of Applied Sciences. It's a joint project of all these 6 for their students, but we decided when we started that we're going to be radically inclusive. So our doors are open to anyone that is interested in entrepreneurship and starting a business. And we're a welcoming space. We are located in a in the old Fabriki building on the University of Vaasa campus, close to the sea. It's very pretty. You can come there to meet like-minded people. You can come and participate in our free events. And you can also just come and get mentoring from me, for example, or get access to the network that we have in this region.
So from what you're saying now, I don't necessarily need to have an idea before I come join the startup factory.
Not at all. So if you feel like, sorry.
Yeah. So the question now is, I don't need to have conceived an idea of business. I just need to be interested in business.
Yes.
Then I can join the factory.
Exactly. So if you feel like I want to give this whole entrepreneurship
Chance.
thing a chance, then you can come to us and we can sit down, and you really don't need to have an idea. We, for example, have from the Sitra organization over here in Finland, that is an organization that does future research, and they have published every year something that's called mega trends, and that are trends that not only are visible in Finland, but they're visible in Nigeria, in Australia, in South America, everywhere on the globe. Can go from inverted age pyramids, so a growing, aging population, to climate change, to societal things that are happening across the globe. And then we could look at these, and if something over there feels to you like a problem worth solving, then we can sit down and try to find out if there's a solution that you can come up with to one of these problems. And it doesn't need to be that. So you can also just brainstorm about what you are passionate about, what are your skills, and then see if we can find out of these things something where we could create a business for you.
So my qualification in this case now is just to be interested.
Exactly, yes. Being ready to taking this big or small step into entrepreneurship.
Okay, thank you.
So I heard you mention a couple of places based on the research that have been conducted before. So does that mean that Vaasa Startup Factory, the scope extend beyond Vaasa alone, or everything is just restricted within the city of Vaasa or the Ostrobothnia region?
Physically, we're restricted to the Ostrobothnia region.
Okay.
So we do cooperate also with other places across the globe. I was last year in Ethiopia for another assignment, and I made some connections with the local university over there, and we've been keeping in touch, seeing how we can cooperate with, for example, entrepreneurial courses that they're running over there, and helping them in any way or sort. So yes, we are physically located in Vaasa, but our ideas and network go
Cut across.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. So for a typical person walking into the Vaasa Startup Factory, with an idea, two scenarios now, with an idea, without an idea, what do you think the journey is going to look like for them?
If you don't have an idea, we need to first find something that you are passionate and excited about. And we don't want to beat around the bush. We make you aware that taking a step into entrepreneurship can be scary, because if you have a fixed job, you're employed, okay, at the end of the month, the wage comes onto my account. I can pay my bills and I can make a good living for my family and me. Whereas if you're an entrepreneur, if you're not have a recurring contract with somebody, which is really fortunate if you're able to have that, then you're keep on looking for projects to work on, and that can be very stressful because it puts you in that pressure, will I be able to pay the rent,
The bills,
at the end of the month? So we want to make sure that people understand it is scary, but it is we want to help you to make it less scary and equip you with the tools, the network, so that you can hopefully thrive taking a step into entrepreneurship.
Good. So I want to believe similar thing is applicable to someone who walked in with an idea. It's just that it makes the work more easier compared to someone who doesn't really have an idea. Good. Okay, so for a typical person who is interested in entrepreneurship and walk up into the Vaasa Startup Factory, what kind of supports are available for those kind of people? You know, we've just mentioned a very critical part of entrepreneurship now.
Yeah.
A situation where when you're starting, you're not sure of any guarantee income.
Risks.
Yes, yes. Yeah, unlike a situation where you are working somewhere, you're collecting paycheck at the end of the month. So whether the business is doing well or not is none of your business. You collect a paycheck at the end of the month. But in the case of entrepreneurship, you're the boss now. So you're taking the heat and the enjoyment that your former bosses are taking. So you're like stepping into their shoe. So an average person will be concerned and say, okay, if I decide to take up entrepreneurship now and I walk up to the Vaasa Startup Factory, what kind of support are available for me in that kind of a place? Support in all ramifications till I'm able to get my stand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to go a little bit back to myself. So I arrived as a foreigner in Finland. I graduated, finished my university studies, and I had, at the end of the studies, I did a project for a consulting company in management consulting.
Okay.
And then they offered me a job. You do 100% of the work and you get 50% of the money that you generate. And I was like, that's a pretty shit deal. Sorry. Pardon my French. But I was like, okay, if I do 100% of the work, I can also take 100% of the
resources.
proceeds. Exactly. So that's where I made my step into entrepreneurship and I decided I start my own company. And that was difficult because, as I said, just things so. And I've been an entrepreneur ever since. So I've been an entrepreneur since 18 years. I've had companies fail. I've had companies doing well, and I'm still going with it. I'm passionate about it, and I've learned a lot during these 18 years as an entrepreneur. And that is something I'm giving back now to the people that come to the Vaasa Startup Factory. I might not have the specific knowledge that you might need for your company idea, but I have very good knowledge about how to, like, the general structure of how you run through the business and help you succeed. So it doesn't really matter if your topic is X or if your topic is Z. So that are the things that we do. We usually start very easily with the business plan canvas. So I give you a canvas, you start to fill it out, and I make you think about these things, and then you come back and then we discuss about it. I look at things and I see things that you might not have considered or seen about, and that helps you to start running instead of like maybe falling across a rock that you didn't see. So that is one of the support things that we give. We also have a good network. We can give you access to tools, and we can give you access to people.
What about funding? Any funding opportunity?
There are funding opportunities we can give. We forward you then usually to Stardia, which is the from the regional development agencies, their startup or entrepreneurial office.
Okay.
And over there you can apply for Startiraha. And at the moment it is 800 euros that you will get paid for 6 months.
Startiraha means a startup fund or what?
Yes. So it's personal. So if you decide to start a company with friends, only one of you will be able or eligible to apply for it. But what my learning and also always recommendation is, you should start a company already with a client more or less aligned up so that you know where the first money comes from.
Yeah.
There are other initiatives starting over here, especially if you are a company that is having this startup mindset. So if we talk about a startup mindset is you want to earn millions, and the entrepreneurial mindset is I'm really happy with what I'm doing and I'm happy with making a good living for myself and possibly my family or however constellation you're living in. So it are two different mindsets, and none of them is like superior to the other one. It's just that the startup mindset is maybe more stressful because you aim very big.
Hard.
Yes.
So you mentioned that the startup factory can help with tools.
Yes.
And so supposing I am thinking of setting up my mechanic workshop because I have the skill, the required skill to do that. What tools will you be making and providing for me?
Yes. And that's
Now compare that with me, who I'm thinking of setting up my accounting firm.
yes.
So there are two different kind of skill and tools that are required. So what my specific question is, what tools will you need available for such persons?
Yes. We're very fortunate to working together with several startups in Finland, but also worldwide. And it's all digital tools. So we're not able to give you physical tools for a workshop. But for example, for accounting, that's very good because we work together with a company over there where we would be able to give you everything you need to do your accounting without having much hassle. And having done my own accounting, I know that it can be very stressful. And I told to Teemu, who is the co-founder and CEO of this company, that I wished this tool would have existed when I was running my companies in the past. So we're really happy that we can give a service like this to our members. And then there's other tools like Notion. And we're working on many, many other companies that we want to cooperate with so that we can give you, especially these things that are like necessary for you to run your business, but not your strength. So accounting has to be done, but you don't want to maybe invest in it at the beginning. And so then we're really happy that we could forward you to no CFO, and then you can get the accounting stuff taken care of via their service.
Okay, so for the mechanic guy, I'm sorry, there are no tools, no physical tools for him. Okay.
But of course, I think for the mechanical guy,
Yeah.
all the tangible entrepreneurs that work with something physical, the non-physical or intangible tools are also really important because it's something they might not think about, but they really need it. And it takes a lot of stress and capability out of their time. They would need to consider these themselves. So being able to use these tools means they can concentrate 50% more time on what they're really good at. So be it fixing cars or building houses or yes.
Okay, so you said during your conversation here, you said you've started a lot of businesses and some failed, some are successful.
Yes.
Can you take us through one or two of those instances where the business failed and why they failed?
Okay. So I say I failed at least twice.
Okay.
And the first one was after university, I became a management consultant for environmental topics. So sustainability topics are still very important for me. But in 2008-9, when I started my company, there was also a financial crisis happening worldwide and here in Finland too. And that was a time where companies were like,
Falling out.
why would I invest money into something like this? And then 6-7 years ago, we had Greta Thunberg showing up in front of the parliament in Stockholm with the Fridays for Future. And then the whole sustainability topic blew up. So I was 10 something years too early. And what I did over there then was I just pivoted. I kept the company running and I did other stuff with it, with skills that I had. And as a foreigner in Finland, your language skills and maybe local knowledge, be it of Nigeria or the Germany, Netherlands for me, is something that is sought after. So you might actually find a Finnish company that needs somebody that has local knowledge and is helping you to
create international.
Exactly. Their service to your country or do research in that way. The second failure was I started a company with friends it was an agency, and we were an influencer agency for the outdoor markets. And we were, again, ahead of our time. So we had, on the influencer side, everything lined up. We had really great people to work with. We knew what the rules are, the laws that are coming. in terms of like disclosure and stuff like that. But the buy-in from the brands was slow because we were, again, just 5 or 10 years too early with these things. And then money in the outdoor industry where I've been working was always quite tight. And then I had the unfortunate incident that one of my business partners got ill, and he was also the salesperson. And then I was trying to shoulder both my previous position and the sales. And while I succeeded in some way, the stress just grew so big that I then said, okay, I'm going to shut down this company because I don't have the capability to do several things at the same time. Yes. And it's always good to fail, especially in a startup world. So if you want to have this massive growth curve, a lot of VCs, venture capitalists, are actually looking for people. They will usually not invest in somebody that hasn't failed, because the skills and stuff you learn from fail are super valuable.
I think that's where experience comes in.
Exactly.
So in fact, like you rightly said, some persons say that if you haven't failed, you haven't started. You must fail to succeed.
Yes.
You said that you do collaborate with organizations outside of Finland.
Yes.
So if I am an international here in Vaasa and I am interested in setting up something in maybe Ghana, for instance,
Yes.
is there any kind of support I can get from the startup factory?
You can get our tips and tricks. So one essential trick, if you are an entrepreneur starting your business over here in Finland and you want to go to Ghana or any other place on this world, and you are incorporated in Finland, you actually have most likely already a workforce in Ghana that's called the Finnish embassy in Ghana. Because one of their tasks is also to promote companies from Finland in Ghana. And of course, you have often even local people working over there. So it's not just Finnish people that are in Ghana, but they also use the local population that they are cooperating with, because they are experts on Ghana, Nigeria, and so on. So then you might have a Nigerian, if you go to Lagos, at the Finnish embassy over there, and you would just send them an email and ask them, hey, we're company XYZ, and we're actually thinking of expanding to Nigeria. Could you help us finding clients, partners, whatever it is that you need? And that is one thing to really keep in mind, because embassies abroad of the country that you're incorporated in, they're like a sales force that you can really easily contact and access to.
Interesting. So I still want to go back to the startup factory. What are the common challenges that startup face, most especially challenges that has to do with survival, sustenance? Let's use Vaasa, or let's use the Ostrobothnia as a case study now. What are the common challenges that startups usually face based on experience?
Yeah.
And a follow-up question is, how can the startup factory help to either mitigate these challenges or help to address them?
So challenges that startups can face can be super varied, and research shows that 9 out of 10 startups often fail or don't reach this startup level of profitability that they might have aimed for. If they're happy with that, then that's great. But usually, like, finding clients is something to
worry about.
Yes. So especially if you have a very niche market, then it could be very difficult. And that's why if you have a niche idea, you should always think global. Vaasa, Ostrobothnia, Finland are tiny.
Margins.
Yes. So even if you would be able to get Wärtsilä as a client, then it still might be too small for what it is that you have in mind.
Very risky too.
Yes. So you should always think global as a startup. And that is also, of course, a challenge, because the globe is massive. We have different situations we're sadly in that make life not good for a lot of people. So that is a challenge that every startup faces. And then, Vaasa is not super well known across the world. So it is a bit of a, you start like, if you would say, I'm a startup in Helsinki, that carries a little bit more weight with it because people know usually the capital of a country. And how we help to address these challenges is then again through the network tips and helping people succeed. So getting introductions to be it investors, be it angel investors, be it possible contacts in the countries that might make sense for you. And of course, then just helping you think about what are logical next steps to take and make it with your company in mind. So it is always tailored to what you have. It's not one size fits all solutions that we offer. It is always with what you're doing in mind so that it is the highest possibility of you to succeed in it.
So how does the factory collaborate with other organizations and schools? How do you do that?
So because it's a joint project of the 6 universities over here and funded by the city of Vaasa,
So,
it's for us like natural to cooperate with everyone. And we, of course, it's one of our strengths to be able to draw in people from the 6 faculties and beyond. Because what we see is if you take 4 students from Hanken, the School of Economics, they're great at business, but they are probably not very good at creative endeavors, engineering, maybe if they want to be a health tech company, they're missing somebody that has the knowledge and skills that a nurse from Nobia would be able to bring in, or an engineer from the Vaasa University of Applied Sciences, and so on. So this cross-pollination that can happen at the Vaasa Startup Factory of people of different walks of life is a lot, one of the benefits that we see that we do. And of course, bringing in also the outsiders, people like yourself, and that could come and visit us and then mingle with the people and see like, hey, these people have a really good idea, but what they're lacking is maybe someone with exactly my skills.
that is quite interesting.
Yeah.
How long now have you been in the startup factory yourself?
Yes. So the Startup Factory is operating since September 24.
2024.
Yes. So that's 18 months
Yeah.
right now.
Okay, you've been there from the onset.
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. So would you therefore say that the factory is successful? If yes,
Yes.
can you give us an instance, maybe with a story of somebody who came to the factory and you guys were able to nurture him or her from the ideas he has, and then to the point where he or she is standing on his or her feet
Yes.
at the moment?
So I think before the Vaasa Startup Factory
So first of all,
was,
is it a success?
in my
For the
perspective,
past 18 months, yes.
yes, it is a success.
Okay, tell us.
And one of the reasons is that before that, there was no physical space and also no really the network that we have created, the community that we have at the Vaasa Startup Factory. So that is part one of this answer why I feel that it is a success. It was a 0 before. Now there's 1. There's 1 Vaasa Startup Factory. And it's a very lively place, especially from Monday to Wednesday when most of the students are usually on campus and people are coming over to work on projects and so on. And success stories are, I think, Summer Bloom for us. So Summer Bloom is a paid incubator program that we are running together with the
Founder.
funded, yes. So last year we had 20 students in our cohort. We had the applications open for 1 week, received nearly 200 applications. Then my colleague Riccardo Notarangelo and me, we had nearly 90 interviews with people. And out of these 90 interviews, we had a cohort of 20 people that joined us in the beginning of June 2025. And then we guided them for 3 months till the end of August building their own companies, and they got a stipend of 800 euros per month for
monthly. The 800 euros is meant to be monthly
exactly
for a period of
6 months.
6 months.
yes. So summer bloom is 3 months, and if you actually at the end of summer bloom would feel like, now I want to incorporate. Before you incorporate, you go and meet.
When you say summer blue,
Yes, Summer
it-
Bloom
yes.
is an incubator program that is run at the Vaasa Startup Factory, facilitated by the University of Vaasa and the University.
Incubator program.
Yes.
What kind of program?
An incubator program is something what we discussed a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Like you can come there without any idea, but
Okay.
this interest in starting or gaining entrepreneurial skills.
So like a grooming ground for entrepreneurs.
Exactly. So we will be taking this year in 50 students, and they need to be from the city of Vaasa, studying at one of the 6 higher education facilities I mentioned earlier. And then they will be working this time for 2 months with us on creating their own companies.
Okay, so let's go back to the first set of persons now.
Yes. Yeah. Last year, so the success stories.
Yes.
It's yeah. At the end, we had 4 companies that they haven't incorporated.
4 companies.
Yes. So we started. We need to make it competitive because we give out free money. So we had a drop-off point after 1 month, and then we continued with 14 students, and they were in 4 companies. And these 4 companies had great ideas. They formed really good teams, and the students themselves, the feedback that we received were like, this was the best summer ever. Like otherwise I would have just been sitting at home, being bored, having nothing to do, because we had actually had 95% internationals in the cohort. And especially if you've just arrived maybe from Ethiopia, from Vietnam or somewhere else, and you've studied for 6-7 months over here in Vaasa, and you're facing your first summer, it can be very intimidating, because then this whole structure of studying and meeting your peers is gone. So they were really happy about that, but also, of course, the skills that they learned. So from having no idea to an idea to making a business plan, creating a minimal viable product, thinking about marketing, learning pitching, that is a really integral part at Summer Bloom. And then at the end, pitching to a panel of investors, members of the city, and then even going on to Slush. So that is like something that has been super well received, and that the students have been very, very happy with. So we still see students that participated last year, and they're still an integral part of our community and contribute greatly with their experience, their willingness to help others, and so on.
So these four companies now,
Yes.
they are running at the moment.
No. So as I mentioned, they did not incorporate.
Okay.
And this year, we hope that at least some of the student teams will then actually take the step of incorporating. One of the companies is still actively thinking about it, if they want to incorporate. But then the funding that we were talking about earlier is something that they are struggling with. They're also all 4 still students, so it's a bit difficult to juggle a business and studies at the same time. And I think what they have created, for example, this company is could be pursued. So once they graduate, they probably have more free energy.
So what is the challenge or the challenges of incorporating the company? It's as though there are hurdles.
There's incorporating a company in Finland is super easy. You can do it from your computer in 15-20 minutes.
Yeah, so why do you think they are slow in incorporating?
I think that it has to do that they've learned also during our incubator program about that maybe it makes sense to incorporate if you have a pipeline of both clients
Okay.
and funding. Because of course, if you incorporate, you want to have the knowledge that at the end of the month, I can pay myself a paycheck.
So it was just more like moving from simulation to go in live.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually, most of these have been the winning team. It's called Porhopik, and they had a logistical idea. They have clients every month. The idea that they have, they execute it every month, but they donate the money because they don't have a business.
Mm.
And to scale up, they feel like we need to be able to make a better platform, incorporate, get more of the infrastructure that they need into place to run it successfully so that they can generate the income and maybe get an investor or something like that on board.
Do you help the students to get maybe like investors? Do you help in sourcing for investors?
I have I would say, network of angel VCs, investors that I know, but there needs to be a match. So
Has to be a match.
yes.
Right.
So it makes no sense introducing your idea to somebody I know, where I know that his skills and financial investment perspectives are not aligning with what you're doing, because he cannot help you. And
Right.
often investing is not just about money,
Mm.
it's also about knowledge and network.
An interest.
Exactly. So if I'm the investor and you come to me, and let's go back to the mechanic example from earlier. I'd be not a really good investor for you because I have no network into these areas. I might know somebody that could be suitable for you. So then I, as the investor, would then talk with Becca or Thea or whoever
Mm.
and ask them, hey, I've got Mamus over here who's thinking of starting a
mechanic workshop.
a mechanical workshop, and he is going to specialize in ABC.
Mm.
How does this sound to you? Would you like to sit down with him? And that's the way it works.
Mm.
So we have these possibilities to invest, connect people to money, but it needs to be a match. So we need to be make sure that if we make introductions, that they really are suitable for both sides.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing now is that my business idea might not attract some kind of investors because of the pool of investors you have. If they don't align, it will be that difficult to.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
The positive view we can take on this is that the pool of investors and angel investors is growing all the time, and that there likely is a good match for you. The problem you will be facing is finding exactly that person that shares your vision and wants to support you.
Mm. Oh, great.
Oh, okay. So, still following up on this investor thing, because getting an investor is like the lifeline of entrepreneurship.
Mm.
Yeah, because if you don't have who to buy into your ideas, you might struggle a lot to actually. Okay, so if you look at some of the things that have been done in a couple of places, maybe like in UK where you have the lions, then maybe in some other parts of the world where you have the tigers, then and etc. And co. Is it possible for you to create such a platform where you have people, angel investors, or people who just probably have some extra money and they said, okay, I want to put it somewhere that I believe I can nurture the person, because sometimes investment is not just about return. Yeah, it's about interest, it's about growing people and passion. So is it possible to have such a kind of a platform where the people you have nurtured are now made to come and sell their ideas to people who might be interested in investing in their idea?
These platforms already exist. So
In Vaasa here.
not in Vaasa, but in Finland.
Okay.
So we have there's a Finnish version of Shark Tank.
Shark Tank.
And that would be, of course, the most visible one,
Mm.
but the most easiest to approach if you're looking for funding is to visit the website of the Finnish Business Angel Network. It's called FIBAN. And there's a sub website where you can submit your pitch deck, and it has clear instructions of what needs to be included. And then usually, and there's over 600 angel investors in this network.
Oh.
And if there's somebody that your pitch deck resonates with, then they will get in touch with you. And if after a month you wouldn't have heard from anyone, you could follow up with an email and ask like if there was any interest or so on, or if there's anything that was missing or you could do better. So that is one platform to find funding. The second option is always bootstrapping. So bootstrapping is actually if you generate income by selling whatever it is that you're doing to people that want it. So having customers. And the third option that I see is that you attend conferences. It could be the polar bear pitching that was just a couple of months ago up in Oulu, where you're also pitching to a wide audience of investors. It's streamed worldwide. It's very popular.
With an annual event? Or?
It is an annual event. It's always in the end of February in Oulu, which is a few hours north from here. And what's special about this is that you're going into the ice hole. So you might be familiar in Finland in the winter.
Yeah.
We make an ice hole and we go in there, and the people need to pitch from the ice hole, and they're only to pitch for as long as they're able to stay in the ice hole. So, and then of course, attending conferences like Arctic 15 or Slush. So Arctic 15 is going to be, I think, in June or July. So relatively soon. And then Slush is always in November in Helsinki. And that are great opportunities to try to find this investor that matches up with what it is that you're doing.
So there are no restrictions to like being invited.
If you're a startup,
because I can see that there are lots of them in Finland.
Yes.
From what you're saying.
Yeah. So the easiest step for the viewers and listeners that are over here in Vaasa or in Finland that are having an idea is to create a pitch deck according to the instructions on the FIBAM website, submit it over there, and see if it resonates with one of the angel investors over there. If you're a startup in Finland too, you can apply for startup tickets to these conferences that I've mentioned, and they're often heavily reduced or they're even free. And then that's a great opportunity to arrange meetings with VCs, investors, and the like.
Yeah, so you've actually mentioned quite a lot of avenues for fundraising.
Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't really hear you say anything about banks or financial institutions. This time not in terms of loan. Do you understand? Yeah, it's not in terms of loan. Yeah, because for you to pick up a loan for a business, it means your chances of survival, you're very, very sure. Maybe you're beating like 70% or 80%. You understand? Yeah, but I'm also aware in some places where banks do have a kind of a startup desk.
Yeah.
You understand? Where business proposals and ideas are submitted to those startup desk, and they review it, and then they nurture it. Then they're going to give you, it's more like a loan, but not really like a loan because it's actually guaranteed by someone. You understand? And in most cases, the government, institutions, insurance, and etc.
Yeah.
So, and then resources are released to the entrepreneur in phases.
Yes.
Based on the analysis and etc. So, and as you are making progress, or successful progress this time around, then more resources are released and etc. Then you have blown up companies and etc. So in Finland, is there anything like that? Is there any banks or financial institutions that run similar structure that people could explore?
I'm not familiar with anything like that. And I think that the problem with banks that I see is that it is usually money that the bank wants to get back. Whereas if you have an angel investor or an investor or a VC coming in, They give you 50K and say, this needs to be enough for the next 6 months. And then you need to start to generate revenue, or half the time, that's the runway you have to maybe then secure additional funding, but you have something to show for in this time. So that's the way it is. So, and what the VC investor angel all see is that if I give you this money, I get shares of your company.
Yeah, sure.
And the goal is always an IPO, so an initial public offering. The company will be listed, let's say it's in Helsinki, because we are in Finland, on the stock exchange. And the day it launches, they can, if they want to, cash in the shares that they receive for their initial investment into your company. So let's say I invested 50K into your company, I got 10,000 shares for that. And this was as an angel investor, I was at the start there. And then I've been supporting you. Maybe I've been sitting on your board of directors, introducing to the network, looking, where's an investor that would be a good fit for you, and so on. And I helped you grow the whole time. And then in 5 years, we are in Helsinki at an IPO, and your company is worth the billion because you are the unicorn company. Then I made a great investment, even if my 10,000 shares. So yeah, I will have hopefully made out the 50K that I invested in you handsomely back. And then I'm ready to invest, for example, into where this goes. Exactly. That is how these people operate. They often are entrepreneurs that have been successful. They had a good exit with their company, so led it to an IPO, cashed out, and then they still felt the passion, but maybe they didn't want to take all the risk and responsibility on them, but they wanted to help people like yourselves, or the entrepreneurs, startup entrepreneurs out there in the audience, and say like, hey, we're going to help David, Tia, whoever, starting their company because we believe in what they're creating and that it can fly.
So
And that's why, sorry to circle, sorry for interrupting you, circle back to the banks. This is something that banks usually don't see, or that they just don't have the capability because of the rigid structures that they are operating in, that they say like, we want to give you 50K because they expect 50K plus interest back in 5 years, 12 years time. Yes. And if you're not able to generate in 5 or 10 years, then you're standing there with a credit and accumulated interest. That is like, whereas the angel investor says, I'm investing 50K in you. I believe in what you do. But if you fail, and the possibility is high that you fail in a startup environment, is he has calculated that he was not probably even expecting you to succeed. So for him, this was like, he was able to lose this 50,000 euros in the worst case. It doesn't mean that these people give away this kind of sums of money because it grows on their back, as we say back at home in Germany. But it's they see the potential that you bring to the table, and that's why they're happy to put that money into your company and do everything possible usually to help you succeed.
Yeah, that was what I was about to say. That of course the financial houses, those organizations, they are not investors. They are business people that are strictly there to give you the loan, and they take their eyes off. They come back to say, where is my money and my interest? But for the investors, they go with you from the onset. They take both the risks with you. And so if it turns out to be successful, hooray for everybody. Everybody's happy and they go home happy. So I think for startups, what we really should be looking at for are these investors that are ready, that believes in our vision. And so I think, like we've been saying, the right catch should be that we get these investors that believe in our dreams. Yeah, that's it. I want to ask you, are you a successful businessman? Do you think?
I
Thus far.
I'm satisfied with what I have achieved in my entrepreneurial career.
Hold it there. I like that response. You see, on the streets here in Vaasa, in my ears, what I hear is having a startup or dreaming of it, taking that first step is usually difficult because when you think about it, who are those persons that would patronize you? You made mention of it is better if you have the investors in place, and at the same time you have those that will patronize your business, right? Now, if those persons are in place, then you're kind of good to go to take that first step. You said thus far you think you are successful, you think you are doing well. I want to ask, is it possible that you're doing well because you're married to a Finn?
No. I think my satisfaction with what I have achieved is because for me, also being an entrepreneur is about work-life balance. And being an entrepreneur, I have the possibility to be less at work because I am maybe good at what I'm doing. So I can spend more time with the family or free time doing things that I enjoy. So the financial payoff is not what I am seeking with being an entrepreneur. And that's why I say I'm satisfied.
Mm.
So if we look at financial terms, then I think it's okay how I'm doing. I'm definitely not have the startup mindset of having reached 1 million or more like that. So, and as for the question of being in a relationship with a Finnish person, probably there's some in benefit to that, but I've been running my business on my own, and I've been certainly looking out my clients on my own. And of course, it is valuable to be able to maybe turn to a Finnish person. Us being in Finland, us not having the Finnish culture, and not hence being familiar with a lot of things that Finnish clients that we might seek out understanding. So being able to go to my wife and asking, what do you think about this kind of proposal to Pekka?
Mm.
Does this make sense, or would I need to include some kind of Finnish cultural perspectives so that he understands it actually a lot better as I have communicated it? However, nowadays we got AI, and you can prompt in Claude, Gemini tree, whatever it is you're using. Keep this in mind in my offer to Pekka. That Pekka is Finnish. I'm a Nigerian businessman. Please suit my proposal to him so that it is applicable to a Finnish business person, to that he understands it. Because what might be a common friendly meant gesture in Nigeria might be misunderstood.
Yeah.
And we don't even need to go to Nigeria. Things that is normal in the Netherlands are misunderstood over here in Finland too. So that is like a tool that everybody of us as a person nowadays has access to.
So you're saying that right now there is no barrier as to understanding the language, because that's what I hear, that if you don't speak this language and you don't really integrate completely into the culture of the land, it's usually very difficult to scale through. Is that correct? Or with the help of AI, now you think it is seamless?
If we go, sorry.
No, not okay.
Okay. So I think we need to separate here between personal and business life. So for business, if you're a foreigner like we are, incorporated your business in Finland, and you make use of AI tools, I think it is nowadays easier than what it was when I started 18 years ago. Because also 18 years ago, and I'm fortunate to be in a country of white people. I'm myself a white male, so it is a lot easier than for a person of color over here. And I think that the underlying racism that still exists in this country is still a barrier to people of color that are coming over here. However, I am very happy that there's a growing part of the population that is in positions of hiring us entrepreneurs that don't have this underlying racism, that see the value that we that are of different cultures, different skin colors, different beliefs, and so on, bring to the table for their businesses. Does this answer your question?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah. So you just mentioned about AI, which I often tell a lot of young people that your SQs, let me say 70% of your SQs or excuses should vanish
Yes.
as a result of the emergence of artificial intelligence.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
So having run the Vaasa Startup Factory for about 18 months now,
Yes.
what would you say are the key benefits of adopting technology in driving entrepreneurship as an individual and as a society?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're one of my colleagues loves to say that we actually try to make people fail in summer bloom as fast as possible. And this is not out of any malice. It's out of the idea that if you fail, you realize this is not good, and you can start with the iteration and a better version of what it was than you were thinking about. And AI helps in failing even faster.
Yeah.
So simply because of the large language models have so much access to different parts of the world, different inputs that they have. And if you're good at prompting, then you get it to find answers for problems that you see. So I have students arrive for mentoring at my place that have in their free time, besides full-time studying, developed complete platforms on Lovable that are ready to launch and so on. So that are tools that just a few years ago were not existent. And creating a platform meant you need to be actually a technically oriented person. You need to know your back end stuff, your front end stuff, your UI, UX, and so on. Nowadays, you just prompt it into Lovable and you get something that is usable out of there. You still might need a technical person to go in at the back and fix all the problems. But for having a working, showing prototype to investors again, maybe possibly, it's super helpful. And of course, it also in not just Lovable, there's other tools that you can use. Claude can help you draft business plans and so on, and help you figure out where there's weaknesses in what you're trying to create. So these tools are super valuable. And because a lot of them are for free, there's even no hindrance of starting to use them. So I think that everybody should, with reason, use them, especially if they try to build a business. It can help them just being a lot faster in the steps of going where they want to go.
Yeah. So now, as you being, let me use this one like an entrepreneurship driver for the community.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
In what way has the use of technology, not only AI now, been able to make your work easier?
So up until a few months ago, I was working everything on my own. So I was the only person employed for the startup factory. I have a team in Helsinki of 12 people that I can get inputs on. So having had AI, Copilot, Claude, being able to use them and bounce ideas off has been super valuable, because I can't always reach Ricky, my colleague at the Startup Factory on the University of Vaasa side, because he's running 3 other projects. So me being able to prompt something to Claude and say like, hey, I have this idea, how does this sound? And it being familiar with what we're doing is super valuable, yes. So that has made working basically alone at the Startup Factory for the past 14 months possible. Otherwise, yeah, it would have not been like that. We wouldn't have reached the point we are now without the use of AI.
I hope that this AI agent that you're using has not made you to lay off some of the staff in Helsinki.
No. Actually, the teams in Helsinki are growing too. So
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So why I ask those questions is simply because I believe that beyond socializations, artificial intelligence can actually be used for more better things that make our life better, that put resources in our pocket, and even enhance us to live the kind of life we want to live. So I observed that people tend to focus the use of artificial intelligence towards a particular angle most of the time, instead of exploring other opportunities that are inherent in the use of artificial intelligence. So having this conversation and the audience also listening, it could actually prick somebody's mind to say, oh, okay, so this idea have been thinking, sometimes you have wonderful idea, but you don't even know how to draft the proposal. You can't even do the SWOT analysis. You can't even do it because it's just like, I am not a business person. So maybe that had been the excuse for some people. You understand? So having this conversation could actually prick somebody's mind to say, oh, I don't even need a business consultant to do this thing. I could actually use an artificial intelligence to get me all this. And at the end of the day, I could actually compare notes between maybe Grok, Copilot, Gemini, and etc. I'll compare notes at the end of the day and look at the one that directly speaks to my needs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly how we see it.
Yeah, we're trying to draw the curtains now, and so far it has been very interesting and an eye opener. In fact, one of the take home is the fact that that mindset that says because of the language, because of the culture or finance, I am not able to think or start off a small business should be off the table. I mean, with what we've been saying thus far, it is clear that the limit is you. So if we can take that first step, there is a house in Fabriki that is open to all of us. And then what you just need is that giant step, and they are ready to nurture you from the beginning to the point where you begin to count your profits. I want to ask this. What do you think the Vaasa Startup Factory will be like in the next 5 to 10 years from now? I mean, one can say that it's still a baby, 18 months, yes, 1 year and 6 months, so it's still a baby. Think of it like you're now 5 years or 10 years today. What do you think you would have?
I hope that we have created a vibrant community of international and local people that feel welcome and that are happy to explore entrepreneurial ideas. And I wouldn't mind if we would have a great success story like the next unicorn, a company at a 1 billion euros valuation coming out of it.
Yeah, that's another 5 to 10 years. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So if someone is listening today and the person perhaps is sitting on an idea, he's in doubt, is not too sure, what will you say to the person right now? Person has an idea or just thinking of having an idea. What would you say to the person right now?
I would say you can first go and chat with your parents or a good friend about your idea. And then you take the next step, drop it into AI, tell who you are, your ideas. And then if you are here in Vaasa, you come by at the Startup Factory and we'll help you making your dream a realization and a successful business.
That's simple. Great. Great. We have a tradition here. We normally ask our guests this seamless question. We try to take you back to your early stages in life when you were that young, living with your parents or your guardian. There is this word or sentence that they normally say to you almost every day that has lived with you up to this day, and in fact, it seemed to be your guiding principle. What is that word or sentence?
I think I would have not a word or a sentence,
Good.
but something that I learned from my mom and dad. And that is they led it probably by example. And that's like being inclusive, warm to everybody. That is actually both parents, and also from both parents of getting stuff done. So my parents were entrepreneurs too. So maybe this whole entrepreneurial stuff is maybe running in my blood a little bit. But I've seen that if you put your mind to it, you can get stuff done, and do so with an open heart and welcome everybody in, because we're all the same.
Okay, put your mind there. And yes, like you rightly said, perhaps that is why you have this entrepreneurial spirit up to this day, because your parents were or are.
My father passed away.
Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. But your mom is still alive.
Yes.
Is she still managing the business?
No, my mom is retired.
Old? Okay.
Yes, she's happily retired.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Did you pick any of the businesses that your father set up that you're running now? Did you?
No, my father was an inventor. He invented a window roof that is very, very big, but can transform your attic into a livable space and an open terrace.
Oh.
Yes, amongst other things.
Oh.
Yes, and my mom was also helping running the company.
Yeah, counting the money, I guess. Most women do. All right, thank you very much, Hendrik. We appreciate your coming. It was timely, and we hope that when next we'll invite you in the near future, you will oblige, and by then we will be talking about businesses that are beginning to roll in their billions, like you rightly said. Hopefully, the startup point is just taking that giant step, and they are open to accept all of us. Viewers, we've come to the end of this wonderful edition. We want us to punch that button, subscribe, share, and like this particular episode. We'll meet again next time. Thank you.